The 7 ordinary products that I keep recommending over and over and over again that I purchase for myself as well as other people, and here is why. Also, side note, if you live in the Los Angeles area and you want to meet me and The Ordinary today, the details of all of that are in the description. I'm very, very excited. There is a pop-up store at the Grove, and this is all very last minute, but we're making it happen. So if you want to come say hi, come say hi. Now, while these are some of my favorite ordinary products that I keep recommending over and over and over again, there are some doctors and dermatologists who agree with me, but also have a couple of other favorites that I don't mention here. Dr. Shaw of Doctorly and I, we used to do these skincare AMAs and these skincare question and answers regularly, but we would always talk about ordinary products and what we do and don't like. And he and I were asked to contribute to an article and speak about our favorite products, the ones that we keep recommending over and over again and why we like them. So I will link that below, and it shares a few more of the products that I keep recommending that I don't have in this video, and it also mentions some of his favorites, which a lot of them coincide, but there are 1 or 2 that do not overlap with mine. And as a dermatologist, he recommends different ones than I do for different reasons. So I will leave that below. Let's get to talking about the faves. When it comes to The Ordinary, they are of course known for their 1 ingredient products, for their very simple ingredient lists, and for basically being inexpensive. But the way that I actually found out about The Ordinary was because of a holiday set. And I was skeptical. I was perplexed, and I was like, what is this brand? What are they all about? Like, it speaks like a skintellectual. It speaks to me. And it was something that I had never seen from the industry before, which is why I got curious. And I actually did a video in a field of flowers talking about how there was no drama behind the brand because I had not yet been acquainted with the likes of Mr. Brandon Truax, which that's a video for another day. The Ordinary is really built on honesty and simplicity, and honesty and transparency are 2 of my core values. So the fact that these are things that you can use to kind of curate your own routine, you can kind of pick and pull, you can try an active ingredient to see if it works for you without having to fully commit, and also it doesn't break the bank. This just speaks to me and everything that I love. And yes, it can be confusing and it can be complex, which is why we have so many videos about The Ordinary, trying to help people understand what to do with these products and how to work them into their skincare routines. But there are so many things that I keep repurchasing for myself, or so many things that people ask me for recommendations on, that I literally go back to over and over and over again. Like, I have a go-to when it comes to hyperpigmentation from The Ordinary. I've got a go-to for rosacea, and that is what I'm sharing here. So speaking of, let's start off with the azelaic acid. This azelaic acid suspension at 10% is phenomenal. We know that azelaic acid is a dicarboxylic acid. If you have rosacea, even if you have other skin concerns such as acne, this can work so well. Even tinea versicolor or other pigmentation issues, azelaic acid can help. Now, this is under $10 and it's pretty phenomenal. You know, azelaic acid is purchased in prescription form. This is less expensive than many of the prescriptions out there. Not everybody has medical insurance, and even if you do, those prescriptions can be 20 or 25 bucks. This is honestly cheaper than many other prescriptions, and 10% is a good amount. This also works really well under makeup. It kind of has a primer-like feel. It can get a touch gritty if you use quite a bit of it, and depending on what you work it in with, but overall, this is one of the best you can get for the price, and it's safe for those who are pregnant or breastfeeding. If you have rosacea, if you have redness in the skin, or if you have acne and you're pregnant, this is an absolute go-to. But what if you're someone who's like, okay, I have oily skin, and sometimes I get acne, but I am just dealing with the grease? Well, let me reintroduce you to one of my old friends who, she's controversial. She's controversial, okay? Some people love her and some people hate her. And she actually has a little sister at The Ordinary that is a 100% niacinamide that I was not a fan of. Little sister and I don't get along. But this is the actual big size of the 10% niacinamide and zinc from The Ordinary. This right here is for oily faces who need to regain control. This has that 10% niacinamide and zinc PCA, and if you are oily, this is amazing for a T-zone. But some people absolutely hate this. We've done a video on niacinamide irritation and why that can occur, but overall niacinamide is a fantastic ingredient, and at 10%, it honestly is a lot. You know, the therapeutic amount and what we've seen actually work in literature shows that 5% is a great amount and works well on the skin. If you use like 20 or 30%, it can actually cause flushing, and that's why that little sister and I just had a bad little snarky chat together. She tried to set up residency on my face, and I was like, you can get the f out of here unless you're gonna pay rent. These pores are prestigious, okay? Not just any products get to, you know, call this home, but this is a whole different story. This zinc and niacinamide is fantastic, and if you do have acne, this is totally fine. It's not gonna cure acne, but for anyone who struggles with oiliness or oil regulation in the skin, this is where it's at. The niacinamide actually helps your skin produce more ceramides, so it strengthens that outer skin barrier, and niacinamide itself helps with stopping pigmentation from spreading. It's unique because it doesn't stop the pigmentation from being created, it just stops it from spreading to those other skin cells and, you know, hanging out over them like a little protective umbrella. Niacinamide is also known as vitamin B3, but we've also got this zinc at 1%, this zinc PCA. This salt form of zinc is really good for oil control. And again, especially if you just use this in the T-zone, it is phenomenal. If you're dry, don't use this. This wouldn't be a top recommendation, but if someone is struggling with oiliness and just kind of controlling the skin, go gentle, right? And use it sparingly, but especially in this area, it is one of the tried and true ones that I keep on coming back to. This is also the big bottle, which is super fun to play around with. And although niacinamide is often like a go-to for kind of dark spots or hyperpigmentation, there's actually a better one that I keep recommending over and over and over and over and over and over again. This has to be one of the best, least expensive options, and this is my favorite for hyperpigmentation from The Ordinary. This is the ascorbic acid 8% and alpha arbutin 2%. And I get it. When you look at The Ordinary, that's like, what? The ascorbic, the acid, the burning, the what? Like, it's very complex, but you're a skintellectual, and you know that ascorbic acid is basically vitamin C. And alpha arbutin is related to hydroquinone. Both of these ingredients are two of the best things that you can use to stop hyperpigmentation. It actually stops the pathway in which this pigmentation is created. And you can see that I've used and loved this so much. This is an absolute favorite. It works well, it doesn't sting or irritate the skin from my experience, and for most people who are struggling with hyperpigmentation and looking for something that is inexpensive, this is something that I just keep recommending over and over and over. It works, it's super easy to layer underneath a sunscreen, and The Ordinary actually has a sunscreen that I don't recommend all that much. It's good, but it's not great. This plays really well under sunscreens. This plays well in a night routine. It's kind of got this like light oil feeling, but it doesn't like overly grease the skin down. And if you're someone who is struggling with those dark spots, or even if you have that mustache from waxing, which, yes, did you know that you can get a pigmentation mustache from waxing because you're causing damage and inflammation to the skin, and then you have PIH, post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation? If you didn't know, now you know. And that's why as an esthetician, I hated waxing faces, and I still hate waxing faces. I don't do a lot of waxing of the face because it can cause so many problems for people. But this is one of those things that I recommend people use, especially if they are dealing with that. And it's something that is tried and true. It's simple to use, and it's just so good. And there are many other things, many other vitamin C products out there that I love. We have a video on the 11 best and worst ones. But if you're just looking for something that works, that's simple, you want it from The Ordinary, you want it for like 11 bucks, this is the one. The ingredients in here basically create a roadblock for the pathway that your skin uses to create pigmentation, to create that pigment in skin. Now, while this is beautiful under sunscreen because it is an antioxidant, because of that vitamin C, there's actually another little antioxidant that doesn't get a ton of attention, but I love this guy. He is tiny, but he is mighty. He is the pycnogenol 5%, and he literally smells like my childhood memories. I have vivid memories of camping out of the back of my parents' car, and we'd literally pitch a tent, or we'd throw a mattress in the back, and we'd go to the California coastline, and we'd make campfires and s'mores, and it would smell like pine trees and fresh ocean air. This doesn't smell like salty and fresh ocean air, but this smells just like pine trees. And that's because pycnogenol is pine derived. Do you see the beautiful amber color of this? This is an antioxidant like none other. And I feel like this doesn't get a lot of attention. This is like a little secret superhero of mine. It's not like a secret because I share it with everybody because I love it that much, but I feel like other people don't understand it or don't use it or don't give it the time of day. And you see it goes in clear, but this is so good. If you are someone who is stressed, if you live in a city with lots of smog, your face is feeling the damage, and maybe you want to take yourself on a magical road trip, you want to go camping in the forest, this is a forest camping adventure for your face. And this formula is water-free, it's high potency, it's a beautiful antioxidant, and it just goes so well under sunscreen. And if you have stressed skin, this is one of the best. Again, it is fragrance-free, but it has that nostalgic pine scent. I haven't found that it sticks around, but this is one of my favorites. And when I recommend it to other people, like, it's small, it's travel size, it works well, and other people have been just as obsessed with this. I feel like this is a tiny little superhero that people don't always pay attention to, but it is absolutely one of the best. It's inexpensive, and if you're looking for an antioxidant that you can use under sunscreen, or if you live in a very polluted city and your skin just feels dull and lackluster, mwah, this is it. This little bottle right here is best for puffy, dull faces that wake up looking tired and seem to stay that way throughout the day. This is a powerhouse, and it's actually an eye serum that I do not use nor recommend as an eye serum. This is the caffeine solution 5% plus EGCG, epigallocatogen 3 gallate, or epigallocatogen gallate. This is amazing, and this is an eye serum, but but let me tell you, I find that eye creams are overpriced moisturizers, and when you look at the amount of this and you look at how it works and how caffeine is a vasoconstrictor and how this epigallocatogen gallate works on the skin, this is literally a beautiful facial serum. I use this all over my face, all over my chest and my neck, and I recommend that other people do the same. And if you're someone who's puffy, caffeine is a vasoconstrictor. It literally vasoconstricts when applied topically. So yes, you can apply it under the eye here, but you can apply it all over the face. And if you do have minor redness, if you do have that puffiness, this works so well to calm that down. You know, while this is marketed for like under eye puffiness, this is not a replacement for plastic surgery. And I actually spoke with a plastic surgeon about this specifically when I tried it. There's an entire video if you wanted to see how it works for me, because we do have fat pads under the skin and this is not going to fix nor replace that. But this works so well under sunscreen. It does help to vasoconstrict, and if you are a puffy person, this might be one of your new morning best friends. And you know that one of my best friends is dangerous. She lives life on the edge. She's a little potent, and sometimes she can get herself in trouble. But the AHA BHA peel, you already know this. You know that I put it on my body and on my elbows. You know that I put it on my face, and I've been putting it on my chest and my back. If you have acne, if you're looking for a professional grade exfoliation that you can do at home, as long as you follow safety instructions, this right here is it. This has the highest percent, 30% of AHAs, and the highest percent, 2% of BHA that you can get over the counter. I've said it before, I'm not gonna say it again. There's videos on how to use this properly and what goes wrong. We actually reacted to TikToks where people did use this improperly, but this stuff is just so good. And I know that some people don't like it. I know that for some people it burns. For me, I can barely feel it on my face. My epidermis must just be like one thick callus at this point. Like maybe that's what happened. The acne scars, it just thickened up the skin, you know what I'm saying? But this little bloodbath in a bottle is literally one of my favorites to use. This is best for those skincare nerds who like to live life on the wild side, and you know what? This allows me to do it. It's not for everyone, and everyone does have different skin, but it is hands down one of my favorite, especially if you need exfoliation and if you are acne prone. Now, speaking of people who have different skin, does anybody else watch Dr. Lee, Dr. Maxfield, and Dr. Munib Shah? Well, this entire video idea came to be because Dr. Shah and I talk about The Ordinary, and we were both asked to contribute to an article about our favorite products. And he actually had other favorite products, such as the salicylic acid anhydrous solution, that while I love, so far have not made it to my top 10. And that just goes to show that for different people, they like different things. And Dr. Shah actually recommends some of the very same products that I do, but he also has a couple of different ones. And I would recommend checking out that article. I'll link it down below there if you do want to read it. Overall, remember to be beautiful both inside and out. Reapply that SPF, and remember that I love you. Remember to learn about your skin, embrace the skin you're in, and I cannot wait to see you in this next video. Love you guys. Bye.